Guys, I'm back for another video, and it is finally time for my question and answer / 500 subscriber videos. Even though I've had like over 500 subscribers for like a couple of weeks now, but like I said, I was waiting for questions, and then I thought, well, I'll get the the Super Raw and SmackDown reviews out of the way, and I'll do it this weekend while there's no wrestling to kind of review. So yeah, obviously with the like shout outs, I haven't got like loads of people because, as you probably can tell, I'm not really kind of that involved in like the YWC as it's like known as. Obviously I do my wrestling like reviews and stuff, and obviously like interact with you guys on comments, but aside from like a couple of people, I don't really talk to like many other like people who do like YouTube videos and stuff, to be honest. And like obviously all the like kind of drama side, I have no idea what goes on with that. Occasionally like a video will pop up or someone will say, oh, do you know what's going on with this? And I'm like, no, I really don't, because I'm really not that involved with the YWC. I don't know what goes on with like all the other people, except for like what they actually say in their like reviews and stuff. So yeah, so I just wanted to like say thank you to like a few people who have obviously like really helped, or like have like stuck with me for a long time. So there's 3 people, or probably 4, but I can't remember when he subscribed to me. There's definitely 3 people that I want to say thank you to, because I'm pretty sure that they subscribed to me like way back, like from my old channel, like my first channel, and have stuck with me ever since. So I want to say thank you to Undertaker010, because I know he used to comment on my old videos, and he's obviously been really great. When I started my new channel, he like plugged me, and also when I started like recently again reviewing all the time, he did, and he's always like kind of stuck with me, just been really nice and talked to me on Skype and stuff. So Undertaker010, I want to say thank you to. Also, Frankified, I'm sure he subscribed to my first channel, but I really can't remember. So if you didn't, well, I'm just thanking you anyway. But he subscribed to my videos, always like comments on my videos and stuff, and literally, like there's a few people who comment on every single one of my videos. So obviously, if I don't mention you, I do want to say thanks to you guys. But I know that Frankified does, so thank you again to you. And also to Michael Honskar, who I know subscribed to my first channel as well, because it's so funny when I like found my old videos and stuff. So I thought, just because I'm doing this video now, saying thank you and talking about my old channel. So here is a clip from my very first YouTube video. It is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, this vlog's going to be a review of WWE No Way Out 2009, which was on last night, and I thought it was a really, really good pay-per-view. But yeah, before I start, this is my first WWE review, so it's probably going to be horrible, but yeah, I'm giving it a shot, because there's like not really any female WWE reviewers on YouTube. Well, not that I could really find anyway. No, none so far have done No Way Out. So yeah, I thought I'd give it a shot.
Oh my word, have I not changed? Can you believe it? Like what I was like back then, almost like so nervous and like afraid to talk, and now I just kind of like ramble all the time. So yes, so thank you, Undertaker010, Frankified, and Michael Honskar, thank you for sticking with me all this time. And obviously people who now I've met like recently on this channel, first of all, obviously Nutty Rock Chick has been awesome. She's obviously plugged me on her channel, and she's just generally great, obviously does good reviews herself, is always really nice and complimentary and really supportive of my channel, so I want to say a big thank you to you. Also Dozer, like I just mentioned a minute ago, I can't remember if you subscribed to my like old channel or not. I'm terrible, my memory is appalling, but you've stuck with me on this channel, and you're always commenting and stuff, and you've just been really great to kind of like talk to you about wrestling, so thank you to you for being an awesome subscriber. Moo Shiny, now this is my friend Matt, who I've only kind of really been become like friends with in like the last few weeks, but I have this weird thing, like, when you guys comment on my channel, I always have to reply. I mean, obviously there's a few that I don't reply to if it doesn't really give anything to reply to, but I have this weird thing about my comment counter being on an odd number. I know that makes me sound like a complete freak, but I really have this thing. So of course I always, if you notice, I always reply to you, generally, no matter what you say. But also, Matt has decided, that he is going to do the same and always reply to mine. So you'll know on one of my videos there was something like close to 200 comments, because it was just us back and forth commenting. So, I finally found someone who is, as good at like replying to comments as I am. And he's also just been like really good to talk to. He's got, we play like Call of Duty and stuff and talk on Skype. And he's just been like a really awesome subscriber to have, and someone, just someone who I can get on with like really well. So thank you to you for subscribing and leaving crazy amount of comments. And also last one is, I don't know I don't know his AJ. Is it Arcasus? Is that how you say your username? I have no idea, but also AJ's been like really great to talk to, just giving me like lots of information and stuff. Obviously, as you guys know, I just watch the shows. I don't really do a lot of research like about Raw and SmackDown, like what happens like behind the scenes, but AJ's been really great and like telling me, giving me information and stuff to like kind of help with like my videos and stuff. Not that I need extra information, because my reviews are fantastic anyway, but thank you to you for giving me help and just being awesome to kind of talk to as well. So thanks to you guys, but of course I just want to say thank you to every single one of my subscribers. Obviously I can't name all of you because I'd be like here for like ever, but all of you who comment regularly on my channel and stuff, thank you so much, you guys are great. So, now we're going to move on to the question and answer. And I've actually got quite a few questions, so I'm going to try and not talk about each one for too long. And obviously some of them might be a bit difficult for me to answer because there's some about TNA and stuff, and you guys know I don't watch TNA, but I'll try and answer them all anyway. So I'll do the ones that aren't about wrestling first. So we've got two questions that are quite similar. So Defying Gravity 503 asks, what is my favourite TV programme besides WWE and why? And RKO 2582 asks, what are my top 5 favourite TV shows? So obviously I'll answer kind of both because obviously they'll link in. So obviously, you guys, this is like where my, credibility goes out the window, because you guys will think, oh, so, a girl who watches wrestling, plays Xbox, that's really cool. And I reveal to you what TV show I watch apart from wrestling. And my answer is Neighbours. Okay, this is where you all switch off this video and say, oh my word, she is so sad. Seriously, I really don't have a lot of time. You know how sometimes I struggle to even fit watching wrestling in my days. I really don't watch a lot of TV. It so happens that, like my mom has always watched Neighbours, and like when we used to get home from school and stuff, and she'd make tea, and we used to sit down at 5:30, and Neighbours used to always be on at 5:30 on BBC One. So it's just something that we've always watched, me, my mum and my brother, just and I've not ever kind of stopped liking it, and I kind of watch it every day. And even if I'm away on holiday for a week, I Sky Plus the whole lot and watch it all in one night. So yeah, I watch wrestling and I watch Neighbours. Bit of a difference, but So top 5 favourite shows, it's kind of hard for me to answer because obviously I don't watch a lot of TV. But obviously Raw and SmackDown are my top 2. Neighbours. I have to talk about programs that I kind of used to watch. I used to watch a lot of Nickelodeon programs. I used to love Saved by the Bell. I used to watch that all the time. I know I'm kind of too old for it now, but I don't really care if it's still on. I'll watch it. Not that it's really on anymore. I used to love Saved by the Bell. And this is also kind of weird, but I also really enjoy watching police programs. I don't know why. I don't know what started it. I mean, it's not like I've ever had a fascination with the police force or anything, but stuff like Road Wars or police investigation or just any kind of thing like that, I just find it really interesting, just watching that. So that's going to make me sound like a complete geek now, but so wrestling, Neighbours, Road Wars and Saved by the Bell. Yes, that is my top. Although when I was younger, if I was going childhood programs, I used to love Pokemon. Pokemon was epic, and I also used to watch a lot of the Cartoon Network kind of shows. I used to love Ed, Edd and Eddy, Dexter's Lab, Cow and Chicken, that kind of thing, really. Yeah, anyway, let's move on before you, click unsubscribe for being a saddo. So, another one that's, non-wrestling, also from RKO 2582, is what are your favourite hobbies? Well, obviously, apart from wrestling, obviously, I watch a lot of wrestling, but I also, sounds really lame, I collect, well, I do kind of, because I used to, search on eBay for hours trying to find stuff. I used to collect wrestling videotape or VHS tapes, because obviously when I started watching wrestling, VHS was the only way that you could kind of get wrestling. DVDs hadn't really come out yet, and obviously because I had quite a few, I decided that I wanted to build my kind of collection. So even though DVDs were coming out of wrestling, they were still too expensive, so I used to go on eBay and buy the VHS tapes. So I've got quite a large collection of wrestling videos, probably got about 80 or 90 possibly, I'm not too sure. I'm not exactly going to sit here and go, oh, I have this one and this one, because that's probably not very interesting. But if you ever did desperately want me to show my wrestling videos, then I can, but at the moment they're underneath all my brother's university stuff, so I wouldn't be able to get to them anyway. Besides, obviously, wrestling, obviously, as you know, I like playing on the Xbox. When I get home from work, it's just something to do, obviously, because I can talk to people, talk to Liam on it, obviously, he doesn't live here, so it's good that I can talk to him and do something that I like at the same time. Obviously, I play a lot of Call of Duty. I also like Peggle, games like that, which, really easy stuff to do, and I used to play Uno all the time. See, you guys can think I'm so sad now. Uno and Peggle. But, and I play games like that. I used to love, the wrestling games on PlayStation 2, but I just don't enjoy them anymore. SmackDown on your roll, SmackDown, just bring it. SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain was best. I used to love them, but the ones recently, SmackDown vs Raw, I just haven't really enjoyed them that much, so I don't tend to play it that much, so I'm just literally on Call of Duty all the time. I also like reading, so that, yeah, again, I'm a bit of a geek. Obviously I read I've read all the Harry Potter books countless times, and my favourite, I read the Twilight books, Sam the Girl. And I also like Stephen King, so a bit of a variety in books there. I don't really know what other hobbies do I have. I like drawing. I haven't got one, but I just love drawing cartoons. Obviously, like I said, I used to love Pokemon. I've drawn loads of them. Drawn characters from The Lion King. I can't draw real people, but cartoons I'm pretty good at. So, but I just haven't done that for quite a long time now. So yeah, that's pretty much some of my hobbies. I'm sure there's more, but I just can't really think. Oh no, yeah, as you can see, my DVD case. Wait, I don't know if you can see it at this angle. I love DVDs. I've got so many, loads of films, but I just don't really get a lot of time to like watch films and stuff. Haven't watched any for a while, although last week I was ill quite a lot, so I did get a few, and actually watched the Rock's film, The Tooth Fairy, which was, again, another reason for you to unsubscribe to me, because yes, I buy the Rock's Disney films. Yeah, anyway, so now we're going to go on to the wrestling questions. These aren't in like order of when I got them, it's just the order that I've written them on my book. So, Spaz Phoenix asked, if you were going to book a TNA invasion of WWE, how would you book it? What styles would you focus on from both brands, and would you remove Hogan? Now, obviously, like I said, I don't watch TNA, so this is quite hard. I don't really know a lot of TNA wrestlers, so I can't say who should be, like, you know, leading, like, the kind of invasion. Would I remove Hogan? Yes, I cannot stand Hulk Hogan. I've never liked him. Don't hate me, people. Seriously, I've just never ever liked Hulk Hogan. When he came back, you know, in 2002, I was just like, get off my screen, I can't stand you, and I've never liked him. So basically, yes, I would remove Hogan. I don't really know. I don't know who to say. Obviously, if Jeff Hardy would just get off the drugs, you know, and like be normal again, then I would say, you know, he could like invade, because obviously, as you know, I'm a complete Jeff Hardy mark. He's like my favourite wrestler in WWE. So, you know, he could do that. I'm just going to go kind of going on what my dad says. Apparently, my dad obviously, as you know, is like massive TNA fan, watches them all the time. He always talks about Mr. Anderson, Beer Money, AJ Styles. So I'll pick those guys because they're the ones that he talks about the most. So I'll say that they could be quite good. And I know he hates the whole thing with like, is it what Eric Bischoff and that doing? See, I honestly don't know. I can't even think what their like little group's called. But he tells me how annoying it is. So I'll just say that they should be left behind and have all the other decent people doing it. So that's a really poor answer to that question, but it's kind of hard for me when I don't watch TNA. Okay, sorry if I pronounce anyone's username wrong, but I'm just kind of, you know, going like by how I think it should be spelled. So, Johnny number 5 said, I heard that either on SmackDown or next Monday's Raw that Triple H is planning on bringing back the Cruiserweight title as well as revamping the tag team division. What are your thoughts on that? I would like to see the Cruiserweights back. I mean, it's another kind of thing. It's good points and bad points. Good points, obviously, the Cruiserweight matches, I used to really enjoy them. I thought that they had quite a strong Cruiserweight division, like, quite a few years back, and it was always really interesting to watch, like, back when they had, like, obviously, Ray, Ultimo Dragon, Jamie Noble was in that, Billy Kidman, Brian Kendrick, all people like that. It was really interesting to watch their matches, so I would like to see that, but I'm trying to think, they don't really have a lot of people cruiserweights now, because obviously, I know obviously they've got like Sin Cara and like, especially class like Evan Bourne and probably like Tyson Kidd, but I don't know if they've got a strong enough division, but maybe they'd put in a few people who I'm not too sure about, and maybe ones who we don't see regularly they could bring in, so that'd be quite good. The only downside is that I think once people get in the cruiserweight division, they have a hard time getting out of it, because they're kind of known like as that. Obviously, you know, Rey Mysterio managed to like kind of like break out of that, but I think that if, say like Sin Cara or whoever, you know, if they've been wrestling as cruiserweight for the title, then they probably can stay there. You know, if you're in a cruiserweight division, you don't really get like recognised as being like, you can't really go on to being like kind of a main eventer. Like you didn't see people like, yeah, Jamie Noble and Billy Kidman and that. They didn't really do a lot else. Maybe the tag team division, but they wouldn't really go on any higher up, if you know what I mean. So it's got good points and bad points, but I think I would quite like to see the cruiserweight division come back. Moo Shiny said, do you think it is a shameful thing to be a lobster head? This is like a joke that we have about Sheamus's music. Yes, it is a shameful thing to be a lobster head. And all because of you now, whenever Sheamus's music comes on, I always have to say too many limes when he's saying it. Even though it says lies, it does sound like limes, and I always have to sing along with that. Anyway, please don't unsubscribe to me, people. This is why I should never do Q&A videos, because I'm such a weirdo. But his real question was, who is your favourite wrestler of all time who has not been WWE or World Heavyweight Champion? Now, this is really difficult, like, because most people that I like have been champion. Obviously, Jeff Hardy's been champion, Orton's been champion, HBK, The Rock. The list is endless. Even Eddie Guerrero's been champion, so probably should have prepared an answer before I actually started this filming. In Brock Lesnar, there's so, like, everyone pretty much who I like has been like a champion of like some kind. I'm probably gonna have to like go with like a woman then because I can't really think of anyone off the top of my head unless I really sat and went through all the wrestlers that, you know, I've seen and stuff. Obviously Lita was like my favourite. I feel like she was really awesome. Obviously she went a bit when she was with Edge. She, you know, her character wasn't as good, but obviously Lita used to be really awesome, and I used to like watch, like, obviously. Because Team Extreme were like my favourites, so Lee was pretty awesome. That's a really bad answer to give though. I can't even believe that I can't think of anybody else. I do admit I did used to like, oh actually no, okay, this is gonna be so embarrassing. When I was younger, I used to have a crush, this is so embarrassing, on Shane McMahon. I know, oh my word, how awful is that? So I'm probably going to have to go with Shane, because he actually, even though he wasn't a proper wrestler, I do actually really like Shane McMahon's matches. Like his matches with Angle, like King of the Ring 2001 were awesome. He had good matches against Steve Blackman. His feud with Kane I really enjoyed. So I'm actually going to go with Shane McMahon, because obviously he's never been champion. So yeah, Lisa for a woman, obviously, because they didn't win the title, but Shane McMahon otherwise. So that's probably going to be a really lame answer and you're going to hate me now. Okay, Carl Enjoys Wrestling said, do you think Kofi Kingston will work as a heel? I don't really know. Kofi doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that could really play a good heel. But then again, I suppose we said that was like R-Truth, and he's turned out to be one of like the best heels that they've got at the minute. So it could work. I think obviously he'd have to undergo like a complete gimmick change, because he's like far too happy, and obviously, you know, with like the boom boom, you wouldn't do that if you were like a heel. So it could work, probably. I still think he'd be a better face, to be honest, but then, you know, he kind of hasn't really got, like, a character as such, so I suppose they could, like, develop some kind of heel character for him. But, you know, it might work. Yeah, so I'm not going to say that he's better as a face, but I think he probably could work as a heel. Slay McRoss THG said, what was your first mark-out moment watching wrestling? This is a good question. I don't really know, to be honest. There's not a lot. I mean, I'm not like a massive, like, I mean, obviously I say things are like awesome, but like, you know, there's not times when I'm like, oh my gosh, that was totally amazing. So, obviously I first started watching in August 2000, so that was SummerSlam. I'd probably say I really enjoyed because obviously I was quite young, obviously I was only like 10 when I started watching, so things like cage matches and Hell in a Cell matches to me were awesome. Probably Armageddon 2000 when they had the 6-man Hell in a Cell, when Undertaker threw Rikishi off the cage onto that truck. I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. In that exact voice, that turned into like an American farmer when I like, you know, get excited about wrestling. But probably then I thought that was pretty awesome. Obviously the TLC I thought was really good, but I mean probably a lot of people will say that. So I'm going to go with a random one, say when Undertaker threw Rikishi off the top of the cell in Armageddon 2000, that was pretty cool. Oh, Nutty Rock. Oh no, and also, sorry, Slay McGrath also said, are you tempted to watch Ring of Honor now that they have a I can't even say it. Are you tempted to watch Ring of Honor now that they have a TV deal? No, I don't know. I'm happy just watching WWE. Call me boring, call me a WWE fangirl. I just enjoy WWE. I don't really have any interest in watching anything else. Nutty Rock Chick said, if you could make an ultimate group from any mix of companies in any mix of eras, picking one main event star, one tag team, one mid-carder, one diva, and one manager, who would you pick, why, and what would you call them? Okay, this is probably going to be like really boring, because obviously my diva would be Lita, like I said, because she's my favourite ever. She was awesome. She could wrestle with a guy. She did really good moves. She's interesting to watch. Tag team, well, my favourite tag team ever was like the Hardy Boys, but obviously that's like picking like the whole of like Team Extreme. So should I go with like someone different? I don't really know. Well, I would put them. There's not really any other tag teams that I really like apart from the Hardys, to be honest. I mean, Edge and Christian were cool, but the Hardys are like my ultimate favourite. So I'm just gonna be boring and go with the Hardys and Lita. Main event star. Ooh. That's a hard one, because like kind of like a three-way tie between Randy Orton, Shawn Michaels and The Rock, because they were all really cool, and Brock Lesnar was good as well. I think just because, you know, he's like obviously now like not there anymore, and just to make it a bit more interesting, I'll go with like Shawn. I think I'll pick Shawn Michaels. So far I've got Shawn Michaels, the Hardy Boys, Lita, mid-carder. Actually, I think for my mid-carder, I'm going to go for RVD, because he really wasn't like a main eventer in WWE. He was kind of, you know, like sitting in the middle like most of the time. And RVD was pretty awesome, and he's kind of like high-flying guy. Why have I got my like middle of my pen? I have no idea. So he's going to be my mid-carder. And manager, I don't really know. So obviously since I've been watching it, there haven't been a lot of managers. It's mainly been either like kind of, you know, like valets or whatever and stuff. So, but actually I think I'm going to pick Stephanie McMahon. I'm going to class her as a manager, because she's like pretty cool. Obviously when she was like managing like Triple H and Kurt Angle, like she kind of like obviously got involved and like cheated and stuff and distracted them. Okay, so my camera memory just ran out in the middle of that, so I'm hoping that the camera angle hasn't changed too much. So yes, like I just said, so the main eventer would be Shawn Michaels, tag team would be the Hardy Boys, mid-carder Rob Van Dam, diva would be Lita, and the manager would be Stephanie McMahon. So I've kind of explained why I like each kind of one. So that's probably kind of like a really boring like team, but I think it would actually be pretty cool, because they're all kind of like, you know, like a few of them like high flyers, obviously Hardy's, RVD, Lita, Stephanie McMahon's kind of like could be like in her like heel time, like a heel like kind of manager, like conniving, and also Shawn Michaels, just because he's like a really good talker, a good wrestler, and good kind of like leader for like the team. I have no idea what I would call them. Hannah Banana Bob's Hero. Anyway, that is like the lamest name I've ever heard, but I honestly can't think of like anything else to call them. So, Undertaker010 asked, what is your favourite Undertaker gimmick? I personally like the American Badass gimmick. I do not like his Dead Man one. I think it's really boring. I was like really disappointed when he came back as like the Dead Man one again. I was like, just because he did it before, and then he was American Badass, and then going back to it again was a bit like, I just get kind of like bored. Like, obviously I expect like if I went to like live show and saw like his entrance and stuff, I think that would be like really cool to see. But like the overall gimmick, I've just kind of got a bit fed up with it, so I thought that the American Badass gimmick was quite a nice change. So I was, yeah. I liked that one. I thought it was better, and obviously, you know, the fact that he would like talk normally and was just more, you know, kind of, yeah, interesting. And also, if I could take 2 guys from WWE and put them in TNA, and vice versa, bring 2 guys over from TNA to WWE, who would I pick? 2 guys to move to TNA, probably David Otunga and Mike McGillicuddy, just to get them off the WWE screen, because they're so rubbish, and I think they just go there, because, yeah, I know, I'm fed up with having to see them. No, seriously, actually, I don't know who I would move, to be honest. Probably those 2, because, yeah, they're just really boring, and I don't like them. There's not, like, many people who I really have to just skip their matches as soon as they come out, because I can't watch their matches, they're so bad. And who would I bring over from TNA to WWE? Well, I'd love to bring Jeff Hardy back, providing he was, like, all clean of drugs and wasn't, like, all messed up. He's not as bad as Matt Hardy. Wow. They're very close at the moment, actually, because Matt Hardy's gone completely off the deep end. But I'd like to bring Jeff Hardy back, because I think he could be really good. Like, Jeff, I don't know, I've never really seen Jeff as a heel. He didn't really go heel in WWE, to be honest. So if he was, like, kind of, you know, like, played a decent heel, now, like, the role reversals, like CM Punk, I think that could be quite good. And who else would I bring over? That is a good question. Obviously, it sounds boring, like, just bringing, like, WWE guys over, but obviously I don't really know any kind of TNA wrestlers. Obviously I've heard lots of good stuff about AJ Styles, so maybe him, but if not, probably bring back like Kurt Angle. That would be quite cool for him to like come back now, especially because obviously, like, you know, Triple H is kind of back, and like kind of like guys from like the old Attitude Era, you know, we just need Jericho to come back now, and then everything will be good. So that's like my answers. Sorry if these answers are like really bad compared to like other reviewers and stuff, but you know me, I just ramble my way through. We're almost there, guys, not many questions left to go. NJ17 asked, who's my favourite and worst wrestler and why? Well, like I just answered, like Jeff Hardy. If we're talking ever, as in the person who I've liked the longest time without a break, would be Jeff Hardy, because he was the sole reason that I actually, not the sole reason, but pretty much the reason why I started liking wrestling, because like I've probably told you before, I used to hate wrestling. Like, my dad used to watch it. He used to watch like Nitro, and he used to watch Raw and SmackDown and stuff, and I just used to think it was so boring. I was like, why would you want to watch people beating each other up? That is so lame. Because, yeah, you know, I thought like that when I was younger as well. So, you know, I just think it was so awful. And then I'm pretty sure I was like really ill one Friday night when Raw was on or something, and, you know, I just couldn't be bothered to move, so I actually agreed to watch wrestling with my dad, and it was just before SummerSlam, so they were hyping like the TLC match, and obviously I saw like the Hardy Boys and Lita in like this segment, and I just thought that they were like so cool, and I really honestly did start watching it purely because of them. Then from then on I kind of got into like, you know, all the other stuff, like main event stuff, the cruiserweight stuff, hardcore stuff. So it is pretty much because I saw Jeff Hardy that I actually liked wrestling. Come on, I was like a 10-year-old girl. Everybody loved Jeff Hardy at that age. So, you know, that's pretty much why. Obviously, there's a lot of people that I've always liked. Obviously, I used to really like The Rock, Shawn Michaels. To be honest, I didn't like Randy Orton when he first started, so I won't say him. Obviously, I really like him now, but there's people, yeah. So probably like Jeff Hardy and The Rock are people that I've always liked. Like, even when The Rock turned heel, I still liked him. He was awesome. Hate Hogan. Not that Rock turned heel during that, but, you know, I just thought that he was like, well, he did actually, I suppose, at No Way Out 2003. But, you know, so The Rock and Jeff Hardy would be people, like, who always been my favourites. Worst wrestler, I do not seem to like people that everybody else loves. Like, people who used to be around, who came back. Like, Hogan, like I said, I can't stand him. I hated him when I came back. I just found him so boring because he was, like, so old. Never liked Scott Steiner when he returned. Everyone else was, like, going crazy about it, and I was like, oh, he sucks. Bill Goldberg, don't get me started. When he came into WWE, I was just like, oh, man. But no, seriously, probably, though, I honestly have not liked, as you probably gathered, David Otunga and Mike McGillicuddy. They're so boring. So ones now who I really can't stand, it would be them. But, like, older geezers like that who are, like, really dull now and have no real purpose of being there. Yeah, those are the kind of people that I don't really like. Silent Bob 82 asked, if you could bring back 3 wrestlers from the last 3 years who have left WWE, who would it be and why? Good question. I don't really know how many people have left. Obviously, I know, like, Jeff Hardy went. So, you know, like, he's really like my answer to like everything, Jeff Hardy. I don't really know that many people who've kind of left, to be honest. I'm gonna be like real complete fail. Obviously, like, you know, Jericho, I wish he would come back. Obviously, I don't really know if he is planning to or not. It would be nice to see him come back. And yeah, I don't really know who. I can't even think of people left. I know ones who've been fired, but to be honest, most of them are just rubbish ones. So I can't really think of any major people who've actually left in the last 3 years, to be honest. And also because like I didn't really watch wrestling that much. Like since this year, I didn't watch it in 2008. Obviously, I watched it all of 2009. In 2010, I kind of had a break again. So if there's anyone who was like obviously really kind of good then who left, then I can't really say. Didn't really watch it that much. So yeah, Jeff Hardy, Chris Jericho, and somebody else. You fill in the blank for me. Who else should be brought back? You guys answer that one for me. Okay, last 2 questions. This one I'm going to struggle to say. Anne Warren Mawson. Is that how you say your name? I honestly don't know. What's your dream WrestleMania match for next year's show? Again, I'm really hopeless of this because honestly, my creativity is pathetic. Like, I can't really think. Like, people say, oh, you know, you can pick anyone ever, like, who you want to face each other, and I'm like, honestly, I have no idea. I don't know who to pick. Obviously, I think, you know, seeing as like Rock's going to be, has The Rock actually faced Randy Orton like one-on-one? I'm not sure. I know they had like the handicap match at WrestleMania, like Evolution versus Rock and Foley, but I think I would be more interested probably in seeing a Randy Orton versus The Rock than John Cena and The Rock. But you know, a lot of people just gonna be like, oh, you're a boring Orton Mark, but that would just be something I'd like to see, obviously, because The Rock was my favourite from then, and obviously Randy Orton's like my favourite now, so to see them two together would be quite good. Shawn Michaels versus The Rock, that would be awesome. I know Shawn Michaels retired, so that's not going to happen, but you know, Triple H is back, Kevin Nash is back, go on, bring back Shawn Michaels for the sake of it, put him in a match with The Rock, that would be pretty cool as well. Yeah, I'll go with those. And the last question, I'm pretty sure that I haven't missed out anyone's questions. If I did, I'm so sorry, but I'll do another question answer another time, providing this one isn't a complete disaster. Lorenzo6320 asked, what do you think of the PG era? Okay, obviously, like everybody else, I don't like the PG era, like, just because I think that it restricts so much kind of stuff, like, you know, with like bleeding and stuff, like, you know, I'm not saying, you know, I'm not one of these people that's like, oh, you have to have like loads and tons of blood, you know, to make the match interesting. That is not what I think. I think you need to have bits to make it more kind of believable, really, because really, if someone's being thrown into a steel cage or whatever over and over again, or having their head like cut with something, if they just, you know, don't bleed and don't get hurt, it just looks like fake. You know, it's more likely that people who don't like wrestling will say, well, that's completely fake then, because of course they bleed. So stuff like that. And I think it's just the way they kind of like restrict stuff, like, because obviously since the PG thing, Cena's promos and stuff have been so, like, you know, childish and really lame, like really lame. You know, the kind of content that he, like, all the stuff that he used to say, you know, he wouldn't be able to say that now, you know, and also because of his character. But I think it's just been really kind of like restricting on like a lot of people, obviously, just because like what Punk's been saying lately has been like such like kind of like a breath of fresh air. It's not like he's gone crazy, and it's not like he's like, you know, swearing and like doing all stuff like that, but just something that doesn't sound so childish is like really nice, you know, to have adults actually talking like adults, you know, not using like really cheesy jokes that make like children laugh. So personally, the PG era, well, you know, I'm not saying that it's, you know, completely destroyed wrestling, because, you know, you can still have really good wrestling matches. Like, the matches themselves are still fine, but I think, like, the stories, like the promos and stuff, and just the general feel of it has been made to feel like a kind of program for, like, children, if you know what I mean. So I think that's kind of the effect that the PG era's kind of had. So I'm not saying, yeah, it's completely awful, it's terrible, you know, it's ruining TV, it's not. But I think, obviously, like, the Attitude Era, I don't think they would ever go back to what it was like. I think they could never really recreate the Attitude Era, just because of, like, the characters they had, the gimmicks and stuff. You know, I mean, come on, like, Val Venus was supposed to be, like, a friggin' porn star or whatever. They wouldn't do have a character really like that now on TV, would they? And stuff like that. And obviously with Austin, like, you know, like drinking all the time and like, you know, swearing and stuff. They don't do that. I mean, Austin's been like on appearances, but someone, they wouldn't really have like their main face of the company like that. Text message, I'll read you in a minute. But, you know, I think they need to, yeah, just bring little bits back. So what they're doing now lately has been better, and I'm more happy with like the product since they've kind of like changed a few things. So I hope that made sense. So thank you so much to all of you guys who left a question. If this video is actually decent, and then I'll probably do another Q&A another time. Obviously most of these questions are about wrestling, but that's fine. I assume you're not interested in my personal life, you just want to know my thoughts on wrestling, which is good because I'm a wrestling, you know, reviewer. So it's good to know that you actually do care or want to know what I think about wrestling stuff. So thank you, yeah, to all your questions. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed to me, who stuck with me either since 2009, my old channel, or like, you know, since I well, 2010 I got this channel, but like 2011 was when I really started my reviewing again. But yeah, so thank you to all of you. You're all great and fantastic. So keep, you know, viewing my videos, keep leaving comments and stuff. And yeah, I will be back probably on Wednesday for my Raw review. So yeah, I will stop talking now. Honestly, my throat has gone so dry. Like in the break when I had to like upload the other video, I had to go and eat a packet of jelly tots. You know, sugar to keep me like going. Too much talking. Anyway, I am honestly ending this now. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.